Hello and welcome. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Jasmine Patton. I'm the new Executive Director of the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce. After experiencing the year 2020, I'm so glad to see each and every one of you here in person and to see all of your faces. My professional experience as a liaison, occupancy specialist, program coordinator, manager, and director have prepared me for the work ahead. I'm very excited to be a part of the Southfield Chamber. I look forward to the future and continuing our role in strengthening partnerships within the community. We are a part of a great city in the city of Southfield, truly the center of it all. I am very proud to be a part of this city, and I'd like to take a moment to also recognize the members of the Southfield Board of Directors. If you're a Board of Director, will you please stand? Thank you for your service. We will now run a video presentation for the city of Southfield.
The coronavirus
death of George Floyd.
A state of emergency.
Virtually every city in the country, and certainly every finalist for this award, has faced many of the same challenges. The difference is, Southfield, Michigan has solved them. Systemic racism, protecting an at-risk community during COVID, affordable housing, all national challenges. And in Southfield, Michigan, local successes. To help overcome systemic racism, Southfield was one of the first cities in the country to institute a duty to intervene policy.
Every officer must intervene if they witness unnecessary use of force. We have the trust and support of our community.
In Southfield, police and citizens peacefully protest together, arm in arm. In 2020, while most of the world was caught off guard with COVID-19, Southfield had a plan and geared up by ordering more ambulances and PPE. A strategic communications plan created transparency and helped flatten the curve.
We ran Facebook ads for our residents so that they would know where to get PPE and COVID tests. And when things got better, we asked our building department to rewrite our guidelines so that our restaurants and our barbershops could open safely.
The other national challenge Southfield has figured out is housing, finding the perfect balance between increasing property values and at the same time, maintaining affordable housing for families.
We invested $20 million, secured state support, and were able to renovate and update 2 significant housing developments. 2 high-rises for residents aged 62 and older, and townhomes for young families.
Southfield is home to growing families, global blue chips, and we hope soon, home to this prestigious award.
Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mayor Ken Siver.
There we go. We're good. Oh. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Ken Siver, Southfield Mayor since 2015. And today I'm back in uniform. Remember when Casual Friday, we had one day of casual clothing? Well, we've had a kind of a 15, 16 months of it. So we've all been through an awful lot in lots of different ways. And we're here, and it's so good to see everybody in person. I'm extremely pleased. So I'm presenting the State of the City for 2019-2021. And in our experience, our shared experience, we began 2019-20 fiscal year moving in one direction, and we had to pivot to keep the city moving forward. The pandemic presented many obstacles. We overcame those challenges to advance Southfield. There's a team behind this, so I'm going to do a number of introductions, and when I call your name, if you would please stand. Starting with our city administration, City Administrator Fred Zorn, and Deputy City Administrator John McGreena. Council President Lenny Taylor, please stand. Council President Pro Tem Ari Mandelbaum. Councilpersons Nancy Banks, Dan Brightwell, Lloyd Cruz, Myron Frazier, Jason Hoskins, and our city clerk, Sharika Hawkins, and Treasurer Herb Lowenberg. Also with us today, I think Oakland County Road Commissioner Nancy Quarles was, okay, I don't see Nancy, but our state representative, fabulous state representative, Kyra Harris Bolden. Kyra. And from the Southfield Board of Education, we have Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jennifer Martin Green. And joining her, members of her team, School Board Trustees Daryl Joyce, Yvette Wall-Duval, Amani Johnson, and Ashanti Glenn. Welcome, school trustees. I think from the 46th District Court, Judge Johnson and Judge Nance. Okay, I don't. All right, I hope I haven't missed anyone, but again, welcome. Obviously, we have a phenomenal team that works at the direction of the city administration and the city council. And there are too many names here to read, so all our department heads and supervisors, if you please stand, you deserve a round of applause. So on March 13th, 2020, I was one of the first mayors in the state of Michigan to issue a local state of emergency. And our Emergency Operations Center immediately kicked into gear, headed by Justin Beck, who has done a phenomenal job managing this crisis. Of course, all of the various things that probably all of you went through. We installed glass partitions, directional arrows, limited occupancy, work from home, did a lot of additional technology. And we actually did 2 city budgets last year. By March, the budget was pretty wrapped up, and so we did another budget because we didn't know what the pandemic would bring. And so we reduced our fiscal budget for 2021 by $8.9 million, mostly in road and capital projects. And in that was done in the spring, and the council approved the budget in June of 2020. But we kept moving. So our city continues to maintain a AA bond rating. We settled all of our employee contracts, save for one. Our city continues to work on legacy costs, reducing them, and we maintain, once again, which was approved last week, a balanced budget for the year ahead. And that budget also restores many of our capital projects. As the COVID-19 cases and deaths began mounting in Southfield, it became very clear to all of us that a global pandemic was really on, and life as we knew it was in for major changes. And we began pulling together to support those who were most impacted. We want to, and I know we'll be hearing from Providence Hospital, Ascension Health later in the program, but we were particularly grateful for Ascension and Providence and the work that our first line folks at the hospital performed. In appreciation, we hung a banner over 9 Mile Road to thank the staff there for their heroic efforts. Lots of disparate groups came together. In the bottom picture here is the Wayne State football team with family assistance for Renaissance Men doing a food giveaway. We partnered with Oakland County for PPE and distribution and business support. Any number of folks stepped forward. Our Human Services and Business Development and Career Center coordinated many of the relief efforts. I won't read it all, but as you can see, over $330,000 was given to families for rent and utility relief. Our small business grants, 528 small businesses were assisted with almost $1.3 million in aid. We helped hundreds of people with unemployment claims. And I know I'm leaving some out, but Focus Hope, Denso, Southfield Goodfellows, the Asian American Cultural Association, Family Assistance for Renaissance Men, the Democratic Club, local Democratic Club, the Police Department, the Emergency Food Program, churches. So many people came forward. Prior to the pandemic, we opened our Centropolis Business Accelerator at Lawrence Tech. We had a grand opening. This is a partnership with Lawrence Tech University, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and the city of Southfield. And they've had tremendous success. They've created 13 new companies and 130 full-time jobs and raised over $16.3 million in capital. But the accelerator pivoted when the pandemic hit, and they activated their manufacturing partners to provide PPE for local hospitals, nursing homes, and assisted living centers. We also, thank you. We also tried to have some sense of normalcy. Obviously, life goes on. And we marked the holidays and continued annual events in innovative ways. Our Parks and Rec department created outdoor and online programs. We had any number of parades and drive-by celebrations. Pictured here are the graduation from Southfield Public Schools, graduation parade, Arbor Day, Hanukkah, Black History Month, on and on. We tried to keep some sense of normalcy, obviously with pandemic precautions. We also did our annual Martin Luther King Walk, became a phenomenal Martin Luther King parade. As life goes on, we were in the middle of a census. Very important for the city to make sure that everyone is counted. And we were also, it was an election year, and so partnering with Urban Unity, CDC, Oakland County, we held a series of outdoor events with a DJ food truck, raffle prizes, and even COVID testing to get everyone counted. From Urban Unity, CDC, Sharon Jones is here. Sharon? Stand up. What a tremendous amount of support that, again, we had to pivot from what we had planned with getting everybody counted. And then our city clerk led an extraordinary voter registration drive and voter participation. She had acquired a grant to help get more people registered and participating. So business continued. Clarions, formerly known as Truck Light, continued its plan to relocate from upstate New York because of, and it selected Southfield because of our central location and its proximity to Lawrence Tech. And during the pandemic, it continued building its new, very handsome 42,000 square foot headquarters at the corner of Northwestern and Civic Center Drive. This facility opened late last fall. And Morelli, a leading automotive parts supplier who's here today, is spending $17 million in capital improvements to the former world headquarters of Federal Mogul. I talked to Gene Spector, who's here today earlier, and they expect to move in with about 500 employees by Labor Day. In other developments, we're having a new Hampton Inn and Staybridge Suites Hotel have begun construction on vacant land along Northwestern Highway north of Civic Center Drive. Each hotel will have 112 rooms. And the sale of Northland is set to close very soon, rather. Contour Companies, the Bloomfield Hills, is close to completing a $12 million purchase of 100 acres of the shuttered mall. This will be a mixed-use development planned with adaptive reuse of most of the original mall. I'm a big proponent of adaptive reuse. I'm very pleased that much of the original mall will be saved and put to new uses. The project will consist of over 1,300 apartments of various sizes and price points in 14 five-story buildings, and 6 of those buildings will have neighborhood retail on the ground floor. Hudson's Department Store was the hub of Northland in 1954, will regain that role. The former Hudson's store will be transformed into Hudson City Market, a vibrant home furnishings and food mecca filled with dining, entertainment options, and will become the centerpiece of the new Northland. And also, this is something as a historian, I'm very pleased that the redevelopment will honor the original design of Northland, the world's first modern shopping mall. Also coming along is the redevelopment of the 8 acres across from City Hall, referred to as Ever Center Development. 160 housing units are planned there, office, neighborhood retail, and pocket parks. We'll come back to that. Other new developments, opening in the fall of 2021 is a sports dome at 9 Mile and Southfield. This will be next to the Epic Center, or former IBM building. It will include softball, soccer, lacrosse, flag football, volleyball. And the very successful New Soul Garden, which is on Northwestern Highway, about a mile from here, is expanding has taken over the former Copper Canyon restaurant and will rebuild this facility into a gourmet market. It'll be the New Soul Garden Gourmet Market. A great addition to the city of Southfield, and it will include foods beyond Korean foods. Also continuing during the pandemic, we're entering our 7th year of infrastructure renewal program. And since 2016, there are a lot less potholes in Southfield. We have reconstructed 67 miles of roads. We've added 3.6 miles of new sanitary sewers, 31.3 miles of new water mains, and 10.24 miles of pathways, and actually 17 miles since 2011, the last 10 years. And we've done 10 bridge replacements. This investment is thanks to a bond issue that the voters passed here and matching monies that we were able to leverage through state, county, and federal dollars. This is by next fall, we will have spent $228.8 million on infrastructure. This is a phenomenal achievement. And also when you think about where we were 7 years ago, and one of the things we heard constantly was the roads are terrible. So I don't hear a lot about potholes anymore, I'm glad to say. Our 2020 projects, just very quickly, 13-mile road between Southfield and Evergreen, Franklin Road, 9-mile between Beach and Inkster, Civic Center Drive, Northwestern Service Drive, southbound from Evergreen to 9-mile. Neighborhood work included in Washington Village and the Ravine subdivision. And we continue to separate sanitary and storm sewers. One area of the city in 10-mile and Greenfield had combined sewers, which is, in a heavy rain event, it can lead to a dangerous situation. So for 2021, our projects have already, most of them are underway. 12-mile between Evergreen and Lasher, 9-mile between Evergreen and Northwestern Service Drive, Beach Road, 8 to 10-mile, the neighborhood in Section 35, Evergreen to Greenview, water mains and road reconstruction, Ravine subdivision Part 2, and again that 10-mile and Greenfield area with sewer separation and street paving, and then Green Tree subdivision. Public safety. Within months after his arrival, Police Chief Elvin Barron outlined crime prevention reduction strategies that included behavioral health, domestic violence, environmental issues, substance abuse, traffic accidents, and youth. Specific in his plan were diversity training, creation of Traffic Safety Bureau, gun lock distribution, active shooter training, Narcon training, body camera implementation, domestic violence awareness and prevention, and training for youth response in traffic stops. Virtually all of this, I think he's Chief, I think you've got it all, and we're very grateful. One of the things that the Chief took on right away, and we saw a spike of this, sadly, during the pandemic, a spike in domestic violence. Domestic violence is a societal problem. It is not certainly unique to Southfield, but it happens here all too often. And so the chief, seeing those stats, said we've got to do something about this. And so he's organized a high-risk response team to do intervention where there's multiple cases of domestic violence. And he's not doing this alone. This is a very broad partnership with the Southfield Fire Department, 46th District Court, the Haven, the Southfield Domestic Violence Group, Family Assistance for Renaissance Men, Southfield Public Schools, the Martin Luther King Task Force, and the Roadmasters Vet Club. We held a walk for domestic violence last fall, and the walk will be held again. Hopefully we'll have sunshine this year. It was a little soggy last year, but mark your calendar, October 3rd, 2021. Also in community outreach, we had a month-long Love Our Kids, Lock Your Guns, gun lock giveaway event. We also have done this year 2 already, understanding the basics of traffic safety. And this is particularly geared for young people. What to do if you're stopped by the police, what to do if involved in a traffic accident or altercation, and traffic safety information. This has been very well received. Of course, we were not untouched by, as a community, we expressed our grief, our sorrow, our frustration immediately following the murder of George Floyd. And as indicated earlier in a video, Police Chief Barron instituted the duty to intervene policy, requiring all sworn officers to respond if excessive force is applied by a fellow officer. And over the course of the summer, there were 20 peaceful protests, including the City and Urban Unity CDC sponsored the Kneel to Heal event on June 14th in Southfield along Evergreen Road. A couple more of the events, and then the chief and I attended the Providence Hospital walkout at noon with white coats for Black Lives. The fire department. This is by a fortunate circumstance. The fire department took possession of 5 new trucks, life support units, 4 pumper trucks, ladder truck, power stretchers, and other equipment. This was a $4.1 million commitment on the part of the Southfield City Council to make sure that we have great response times, to make sure that our first responders show up with equipment that works. And so, of course, to receive this equipment as the pandemic is on was very fortuitous. Our fire department also took a very active leadership role with COVID testing and vaccinations. They prioritized assisted living and nursing centers, independent senior living centers. They set up safety protocols for senior living facilities. They held a blood drive for COVID-19 antibodies, participated in a study with the National Health Institute and Mayo Clinic to understand why, or help gather information as to why African Americans were so severely impacted by COVID. The Southfield Fire Department had 12,291 medical runs. That's a lot in 2020. And many of them were COVID related. And you can imagine first responders going into homes with all that gear on, that protective gear. I'm very pleased to announce that the Southfield Public Schools, this is something we've been waiting for a long time, and our new superintendent, Dr. Green, and our fire chief have brought it home. We are announcing the 2-year Fire Academy program for high school students. It will be conducted at Southfield High for A&T. And this is a state-approved career and technical education program which offers emergency management, firefighter training, fire investigator, emergency medical technician training, paramedic, search and rescue. The great thing about this, when a high school student finishes this course, successfully completes it, they will be able to take an entry-level job in any fire department. Obviously, we hope they join ours. I also want to say that we are very, very grateful to Ascension Health and to the Oakland County Health Department for setting up for months a vaccination clinic in our Southfield Pavilion. Greatly appreciate that. I really want to applaud them. We have ended the clinic because we still have people who do not see the need to be vaccinated, sadly. The clinic ended this week. But we're very grateful. So we continued our efforts with housing renewal. The Southfield Neighborhood Revitalization Program continued renewing house by house in neighborhoods across the city. This is a partnership with the Southfield Nonprofit Housing Corporation, which is the fiduciary, the City Council, and Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County. The stats, 93 homes have been totally rehabbed, with 27 of those rehabs going to Habitat clients. 13 blighted homes were demolished. This would have been at the cost of the city budget, but rather was financed by the Southfield Nonprofit Housing Corporation. 8 new homes are in beginning stages of construction, and 5 homes are currently under renovation. This is an $18.7 million investment in Southfield neighborhoods in the last 5 years. This is an incredible accomplishment, And I would point out that none of it is with local tax dollars. 15.14 million. 15.14 million has come from the Southfield Nonprofit Housing Corporation and 3.56 million from Community Development Block Grant Funds, Oakland Rebuilding Together, Oakland County Home Program, and Community Housing Development Organization, also known as SHODO. We continue to construct and finance workforce housing. This is in partnership again with the Southfield Nonprofit, Habitat for Humanity, Oakland County, the Neighborhood Stabilization Fund, and the Community Housing Development Organization. And these homes are being built in neighborhoods where there are vacant lots or where homes have been either demolished or lost to fire. Again, we have this tremendous partnership with Habitat for Humanity Oakland County. And in 2019, 100 volunteers worked on 30 homes during the summer of 2019. And because of the pandemic, it was scaled back, but we continued to do home renovation of 11 homes in 2020. All total, since the program began, 82 homeowners have received assistance over the last 5 years. And the goals here are really to help struggling families stay in their homes. It's also to help our elderly residents age in place. A lot of times yard work is a challenge. And obviously, we're always interested in neighborhood curb appeal. So, we also continue our neighborhood promotion. We had last Sunday, a very successful Southfield Garden Walk, the 14th annual. And we had applied for, with a state grant, and won National Historic designation for 2 mid-century modern neighborhoods in Southfield, Northland Gardens, and Plumbrook Estates. These are recognized by the Department of the Interior, and they are on the National Historic Register. Housing shortage is driving the demand for new projects in Southfield. City Council recently approved the expansion of Arbor Lofts, which will add units on Civic Center Drive, townhomes, and then to the north of Arbor Lofts, 3-story apartment buildings. Very pleased to see that. Maple Tree Apartments at Franklin and Northwestern are going to add 26 townhomes. This project has also been granted City Council approval. And the closed McKinley School will become McKinley Place condos. The school closed 6 years ago and has been vacant. And it will house 18 unique condominiums of varying sizes. And the historic 1929 features of this building will be saved. Beautiful tile work and sand paintings in the school, oak woodwork, a very grand staircase, terrazzo floors. The McKinley Place condominiums on the playfield will feature 22 units and 11 2-story English Tudor homes. As you can see in the rendering here, they're very, very handsome. And they will front George Washington Avenue as well as across the rest of the playfield. There'll be green space and ample parking in every unit. All 40 will have a 2-car garage. The pandemic didn't halt our public art initiatives. As many of you know, I've spoken about this many times. We've rescued the Northland Art Collection for $500,000 that we fundraised, and were able to pay that loan off. And so this year, the Motown murals that hung at, by Clifton Perry that hung at Northland are now hanging outside the Southfield Pavilion. The Friends of Southfield Public Arts is the fiduciary that has paid for much of the art restoration. The bust of a woman by an unknown artist. This sculpture was in the former Northland Theater and has been restored and placed on the Southfield Pavilion Plaza. The Great Lakes by Lillian Swan Saarinen of Cranbrook fame. These panels were in very bad shape. They were in the last outdoor courtyard of at Northland, the Great Lakes Court. They've been restored and hung in the Beechwoods Rec Center. They will be joined by the figures of Great Lakes animals, that terracotta animals that Saarinen designed. We are extremely thrilled to have a second piece of work by David Barr. You may not know the name David Barr, but certainly you've seen his work. It's at Oakland University, Macomb Community College, Park Plaza, the Library of Michigan. The Friends of Southfield Public Art purchased Yin Yang and restored it and placed it at the traffic triangle, which was quite a feat. As you can see, it's coming down with a large crane because we had all of these wires and traffic signals and what have you there, but it made it safely. Our City of Southfield sculpture that was gifted to the city in 1983 on the 25th anniversary of the incorporation of Southfield has been restored and moved to the lawn of Civic Center, and also in November installed our peace pole. This was an effort led by Councilman Lloyd Cruz that our peace poles now may peace prevail on earth. They're in 24 languages, including Braille and sign language. We have a new pathway. We continue to add pathways along Northwestern Highway. This one is outside LTU. And there's a stretch there where the path has to be very close to the road. So a barrier wall was constructed. And to dress it up, we have 3 murals on it that are very dynamic. And this has been commissioned by the City Center Advisory Board. We've also, the City Center Advisory Board and the Friends of Southfield Public Arts have commissioned a phenomenal sculptor by the name of Hubert Massey. His work is in the area in Detroit. There'll be panel series along that pathway that are at the top of the illustration here. And then an obelisk will be at 11 Mile in Arlington. We did a number of community information gathering sessions, and so our artists designed things from community input. Once again, another new piece, probably our newest piece, is Striving, which was placed on Civic Center or City Center Boulevard. This piece was, or I should say Central Park Boulevard, and was provided by the City Center Advisory Board. I can't say enough about the City Center Advisory Board. These are local businesses in the heart of our city that finance amenities, including signage, benches, trash receptacles, lights and plantings, and pathway amenities like this bike repair station. Year after year, our pathways in the city center and beyond have been expanded. A new segment will be added next year that will go from Lasher Road down to Civic Center Drive along Northwestern Highway. For years, these are what our city planner, Terry Crode, likes to refer to as goat paths. People are walking, but of course there was no sidewalk. And we've made them wide enough so that people can bike, rollerblade, push a stroller, whatever. And people are noticing. So M-Sites, the journal of the Michigan chapter of the American Landscape Architects Association, has featured Southfield Trailways. As referred to in the opening video, Southfield was named an All-American City finalist, one of 20 cities nationally. Our entry focused on, centered on housing, social equity, and pandemic response. And the Kimmyhorn Jazz Festival won the Cultural Entertainment Award. And this is a good time to plug that the Kimmyhorn Jazz Festival is returning in person on August 13th and 14th on the front lawn of City Hall. I hope you'll join us. We've renamed the Southfield Municipal Campus in honor of our former mayor and councilman, Donald Fracassi, whose service to the city of Southfield spanned 50 years. The other recognitions that the city of Southfield received, Money Geek, a financial statistical company that provides analysis of insurance, mortgages, and credit, named Southfield #1 on the list of best places for Black women to flourish financially. HomeArea.com ranked Southfield as a top Michigan city for the most affordable housing, a testament to the partnership between the city, the Oakland County Home Project, Habitat for Humanity, Oakland Rebuilding Together, and the Southfield nonprofit Housing Corporation. The firm HED and client City of Southfield received a General Design Merit Award from the Michigan chapter of American Society of Landscape Architects for our Red Pole Park. I invite you, as many people are doing now, at first a lot of people scratch their head, what is that? But people are going out there all the time and posing for pictures. This happens to be one of my favorites, the lady with the red and white umbrella. But you see them frequently on Instagram and other places. And I was honored and totally surprised to receive the 2021 Michigan Citizen Award from the Michigan Historic Preservation Network for my initiatives to protect local historic structures and promote Southfield's mid-century modern architecture. I want to take a moment to recognize the superb leadership that we've had at Lawrence Technological University. LTU President Dr. Veranda Modgill has announced his retirement. After 10 years, he'll be stepping down in December of 2021, the end of this year. Dr. Modgill has led transformational changes at the university. Our town and gown relationships have never been better. He has really, truly transformed that campus. Between student housing, student activities, sports teams, even a top-notch band, and program enhancements. Pictured here is the graduation ceremony that I was pleased to attend. The first graduating class after completing the 4-year nursing program, which now is even larger than the original class. In the fall, they'll start a physician's assistance program. And they recently announced that they're taking over Specs Howard. Dr. Modgill, please stand. Due to the pandemic, we weren't able to, I had planned to honor, and the City Council did with a resolution, Provost Maria Boz, who retired last summer. Maria was a close collaborator of mine. As a school administrator, I worked with her for many, many years, and she concluded her career at LTU last July. And we paused in May to honor the 333 lives of the Southfield residents lost to COVID-19. We had a very beautiful and solemn memorial program on May 11th. And this flag display, perhaps you noticed on the front lawn, representing the lives lost as well as Southfield diversity. And so we adjusted our lives, the way we live and work, and kept Southfield moving forward all through the pandemic. I thank you very much for your kind attention this morning. We do have a video first from Lathrup that we'd like to show, so we're getting that set.
Hello, Lathrup Village residents. It's that time of year again to do the year in review. 2020 was a year to say the least, but I can say that the staff at the City of Lathrup Village has done a phenomenal job in keeping us all safe. We closed down City Hall to make sure that we wiped everything down and made it COVID compliant. We put all of our meetings online, so now you can see your planning commission, your city council, and your DDA virtually. Though we had to change the way that we operate, we still provided programs to you. We just had to tweak them a little bit. Like, for example, we still are offering exercise classes, though now it's virtual. And when it gets warmer outside, we have more exercise classes outside, like yoga in the park. Along with the programs, we also wanted to make sure that we brought new opportunities to you. For example, we have a dog park now that's open year-round. And coming in the spring, we'll have a community vegetable garden, which I am really excited about. And of course, we'll have all the things that you've come to love, like having food trucks, which was Food Truck Fridays, but now we'll have them throughout the week. And then we have something new, which will be the Halloween house contest, the house decorating contest. And of course, ending out the year, we had our Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Though it had to be virtual, we still made sure that you had the opportunity to see our Lathrup Village Christmas tree. Though we had to change some things around in 2020, just know that the staff is working very hard for you to make sure that 2021 will be just as nice, if not better.
It's now my great pleasure to introduce the mayor of Lathrup Village, Kelly Garrett. She was elected to City Council in Lathrup in 2013, served as 2011, excuse me, I got to update my bio. Served as Mayor Pro Tem 2013 to 17 and has been mayor since. She's the recipient of the Wonder Woman Award from Women Officials Network and also the National Congress of Black Women Woman Pioneer of Distinction Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Garrett, my little sister from another mother. Come on.
I wasn't expecting that at all. So this is what I want you all to do first of all. I'm not going to be long because I do have another meeting to get to, but I really need you all to do this with me. Just taking a deep breath through your nose and then exhale out your mouth. Why am I asking you to do that? Because I'm a storyteller, first of all. Let me explain to you why I'm in a panic right now. So number one, I couldn't get out my driveway, and I was supposed to be here at 10:30. There was a construction truck behind my car. That's number one. Number two, as I'm outside talking to the guy, explaining I need to go, he's explaining to me everything they're doing, which at that time I didn't care. Got here, looked all around, and I don't have my notes for the speech, right? I know I can wing it, but I didn't want to because this was going to be my year of preparation for the first time. So I end up calling someone that changed my life in 2020 because I did, right before the pandemic, get married. And my husband, who had to get dressed and run up here to not only bring my speech, but also he's smarter than me because he brought my glasses because he knows I can't read this speech. So I want to say thank you very much for coming up here, Cornell Beatty. the other thing that I will say is that I really just want to say ditto to everything in the video because that's everything that I wrote down also. But the funny thing is I felt as though you needed my personality to go with it because that lady was hoodwinked that day because I didn't know I had to do that. So I had no idea of what I was going to say. And so that is what's called an improv because I had no idea that I was going to do that. Matter of fact, can I be just a little bit transparent? I had sweats on that day, and you don't even realize that I had taken the sweatshirt and did it in such a way you all think it's a sweater. So anyway, thank you all for having me. I truly appreciate being here. I don't want to say, I was going to have you all snap every time I said pandemic because I know I'm tired of saying it. I'm tired of hearing it because we are on the other side of it. And if you are sitting here today, that means that you are a victor, that you did what you were supposed to do, and you should really give yourself a round of applause. So because of COVID-19, we had to change some things, as we all know and how we saw in the videos and the PowerPoint. But Lathrup actually was able to stay open. We closed down just to wipe down, but we stayed open all the way through from March until now. And I have to say, as much as I want to take credit for it, I cannot. The credit goes to our administration and our staff. And they are here today, and I will start with the phenomenal, who I have to say, she is the heavy lifter. I'm just the face. Dr. Cheryl Mitchell, our city manager. The person that is the one that keeps us totally out of the red. Good one? Yeah, out of the red, okay. I have Pam Barachi, who is our treasurer. So now that I have them both in the same room, they can kind of talk. I have a work husband, and I have a home husband. I don't know if that's how you say it or whatever, but Bruce Cantor is our mayor pro tem. He calls me every day pretty much to tell me what I did wrong or what I should do, and if I didn't have him as the pro tem, what would I do? And we have an administrative assistant, Melanie Simpson, who just joined us. And then this guy, our code enforcer, funny story. So he drives around and, he gives out tickets. So he's coming up to this particular door to complain about somebody's garbage can being left out too long. And guess who opens the door? It's me. Rami, and I'm gonna mess your last name up. Sweden. This is the second go around with Lathrup because I had to beg him to come back and be our code enforcer. So give a round of applause to Rami. So when it came to COVID-19, I believe in community. I believe in helping each other. So what we did was we started a food distribution. And it was through Oakland County at first, and they, again, hoodwinked me and sent me 1,200 food boxes. I had no idea of how I was gonna move 1,200 food boxes. But we did it, and we did it in an hour and a half. And so then, because that happened, they asked me to do it over and over and over again. If it's anybody in here who has volunteered, which I don't see too many people, but you'll know that I am a nightmare when it comes to moving that food because I was so terrified that we have food left over and I never wanted to waste it. And the one thing that I will say, and I'm saying this to all, just because someone looks a certain way on the outside, and just because someone might drive a car that they drive, the way they look, does not mean that they're not struggling at home. They might be putting on a safe face, a great face, just to try to get by. So before we judge, just know there's some people that just don't wear it on the outside. So yes, there were Lathrup Village residents that needed that lifeline. So I was glad to be able to provide that for them. The other thing that we had was our DDA was able to assist our small businesses by awarding over $200,000 through the Loving Lathrup Village Business Mini Grant Program. And this grant was for small mom and pop businesses that were impacted by COVID-19. And that was from our DDA director, Susie Steck, was able to commandeer, I shouldn't say commandeer, but get that grant, and unfortunately she's not here with us today. And as you saw in the video, we have opened our community vegetable garden. I particularly like that because I can now go up there and help because I do not know how to garden, but I can pretend in the garden with everybody else, and that's all that matters to me. The next thing we opened was a dog park, and I have been looking for a dog park. And I know that this is not as business-oriented as Southfield, but we're a mighty city, small yet mighty. And I'm trying to get a little catchphrase to go with that, but I'm still working on that. The other thing, and when I say about community, we did partner with Southfield in 2020. Yeah. We did, okay. So what we did was the Kneel to Heal, and I think you said that Sharon is here. Sharon, would you please stand up if you're still here? That was really phenomenal, and I don't know if I told you that before, just trying to get two communities together and just to show that we're all supportive of Black Lives Matter, and everyone matters, but at that time it was Black Lives Matter, so kudos to you, and I look forward to doing that again if possible. The other thing that we did, we partnered with the Southfield Police Department. And that's when, you know, that little, we might be a little city between Lincoln and 12 Mile, except for some reason, your speeds can get up to hundreds between that little area. So we partnered with Southfield and with Beverly Hills, and we did, what's the right word to say? We did a nope, that's the wrong word. That's what I was trying not to say. So we did a traffic safety initiative between all three cities. And the best thing, remember why I wasn't here today or not on time? Sorry, Jasmine. Anybody remember that? Because of a construction truck? I am so happy to announce that we have now, was it $12 million infrastructure going on right now, repairing all the streets in Lathrup Village. And I must say again, if it was not for the Mayor Pro Tem of heading up the infrastructure committee, we would still did it, but we don't know where we would have been. So we are repairing all the streets, all the ditches, well, the sidewalks are something different. But the fact is, this is something, I didn't run on it, but I'll take the credit, I'll let her take some of the credit. But I got the roads fixed, and I'm not gonna use the profanity, but you know where I was going with this. So this is an excellent time. Our residents aren't that thrilled, they're thrilled, but not thrilled because it's a little daunting, but we're getting it done. And I think I might be all done, and I think I'm still under time. So it's $12 million project. Okay, last one. I'm gonna do a did you know? See if you even care about this, okay? Did you know that Lathrup Village has the highest median income for African Americans? Don't start trying to say, you're only 1.5, just let me revel in that for a second. Then the last, did you know that Lathrup Village has the highest housing value for Black families? Just wanted to leave you with something. I would love to talk to you all more. I'm going to do maybe a PowerPoint if I'm here next year. This year I figured the video was enough. I thank you all. I'm so happy to be in front of you all again. If I never saw a Zoom again, it would be too soon. So you all have a great afternoon. Stay safe, and we'll see each other soon.
Mayor Garrett, come back. Thank you, Mayor Garrett. I also need Mayor Siver. They are not aware of what we're doing right now, so. On behalf of Lawrence Tech and the Southfield Chamber, I would like to present a token of appreciation, a personalized token for your work and dedication. Mayor Siver and Mayor Garrett. Thank you. All right. We are going to present one of our strongest health leaders within our community, a COVID-19 health champion, proud member of the Southfield Chamber, and also the gracious sponsor of today's luncheon, Ascension Providence. Please help me in welcoming Brant Russell, the President and CEO of Ascension Providence Hospital.
Hey, good afternoon. So great to be here. So great to see everybody without masks, wearing pants, and actually in person. So this is great, and I'm excited to be here, and I welcome you. My name is Brant Russell. I am, as she mentioned, the president of the Southfield Hospital. I'm also president of a couple others, but most importantly for this group, obviously, Southfield. So, I want to thank, it's always hard following great speakers such as both of our mayors. I want to appreciate and thank from the Southfield area chamber for including us and allowing us to be here. And also thank to Mayor Siver for such a great update, along with Mayor Garrett, which is a tough follow because she's got a lot of energy. And I'm not a professional at this by any means. So, it's great to see everybody. I'm, part of the DDA board here in Southfield as well, and with our great chair, Al. He kind of keeps us going, and I've had a great opportunity over the last couple months to meet our police chief, as well as some of our other fire and rescue people that serve our great community. So a little bit about myself. I'm a nurse by background, so if you can, thank you very much. As you can tell by a few of the letters behind my name, I have a few other degrees, but primarily I was a nurse. I was a pre-hospital provider as well, so I am a paramedic as well. So I do get a good opportunity to know what is going on in my hospitals. I get a good opportunity when I meet with our paramedics and our squads. I've been on the streets. I've helped people. I've entered homes. My background is really critical care trauma, and so I have a great opportunity to kind of understand what's been going on over the last 16 months for sure. I'm going to see if we can work this real quick. So I just want to let you know I'm going to start off with some fun stuff, and then I'll stick to kind of the medical component and kind of talk a little bit about COVID and what we experienced. But, really, I just want you guys to know that your hospital, the one fully acute hospital in Southfield, is strong. We are, fully available for you guys. We are a level 2 trauma center. We are a primary stroke center. We have over 365 beds to help take care of you guys, along with many, many physicians that work for us, many associates, nurses, you name it, we have it, and they have done well over the last year. They are struggled, they are tired, but overall, I think we have come through this unfortunate time stronger than we were ever before. One thing that I think is important, and I'm going to focus kind of on the clinical care. Our hospital is rated. We are regulatory, like many of your businesses in the community. We have a lot of regulations. We have a lot of individuals surveying us. We have a lot of people making sure that we're doing everything right. And fortunately, I would say out of all of Ascension Health, which is in Michigan, 16 hospitals, we have very high scores, and we are rated by some of the best rating agencies out there. So, your hospital is a Leapfrog A rated hospital, which means out of 27 measures every year, twice a year, they come in, they look at our outcomes, and we are measured against 2,700 other hospitals in the country, and we score an A, so that's great. We are also Providence is also a 4-star CMS rated hospital, along with an IBM top 50 teaching hospital. So we have over 213 medical residents and fellows that we teach. So we are producing tomorrow's future for physicians and our attendings and people to provide care. So along with our great partners, Lawrence Tech, we are also now graduating classes of nursing. I think we hired all except for one. Don't ask me what's wrong with the one, but we hired them all. So we had a great celebration. I know one of the pictures up there showed it, and it was awesome. So And I know we were starting in next July, I do believe, we'll be starting our first physician assistance program along with Lawrence Tech, and we look to them and our future together as being very bright. So, kind of another measure we get measured on is health grades. So we are one of only 3 hospitals in Michigan that got measured in the top 100 and top 50 for health grades, which under a number of specialties. But unfortunately, I don't have my glasses and I probably can't read everything. But things such as cardiac care, gastrointestinal, GI, so general surgery, cardiac surgery, and some other pulmonary care. So we do very well and we're very highly ranked. Surgery, again, it's a nice thing. I want to just gloat and be proud of my team. You come to the hospital to hopefully for care. Sometimes it's emergent, sometimes it's procedural, sometimes it's you got to get something fixed. And our surgical and procedural services are highly rated and highly ranked in all these different specialties. And I would say, that's an asset, that's a nice gem to have in your community and right around the corner. So we're always available and we're here to serve. And one area I think we have enhanced this year is our thoracic area. So we have brought in a new kind of world-class surgeon. His name is Dr. Zain Hamoud, and he is coming to us actually from Henry Ford, and he is the largest thoracic surgeon in the state of Michigan, and he is now calling Southfield his primary home. So, that's a great addition, and we continue to look every day, partner with physicians, partner with our communities to bring in the highest quality of physician you can. My goal is to make Southfield the place that our physicians want to practice medicine and you guys want to receive care. So we're going to move on to some quick reinvestments as kind of the fun stuff. Over the last 16 months or so while we were fighting COVID, we were still upgrading our hospitals and continuing to make advancements. We put in new CT tech scanners and MRI upgrades. We overdid our labor and delivery unit. We just finished our phase 3 of our critical care area, which is 58 beds that we renovated over the past couple years. I think Joe Hirsch, who was here probably previously, might have shown you some of that. And I do have some pictures here. We've upgraded our operating rooms. We've looked at our cancer center has gotten upgrades. So we continue to work to make sure Southfield is the best place and has the best equipment, the best technology. Our future is that we're working with the Northland Group along with Southfield and the DDA, and we bought a piece of that property to hopefully help with our future expansion. We're looking at adding a new NICU we're a level 3 NICU, so we take care of the smallest and the most needs for our youngest ones, and we're looking at getting that replaced. Exterior upgrades, inpatient upgrades, so we continue to work, and that's our goal, and that's what we're going to be here to do. Fun stuff, quick pictures. This is from, I think, yesterday or the day before. We just opened up our phase 3. Beautiful unit, 58, very large suites. And we take care of some pretty sick patients in these units. This is our phase 3 unit. So, as you can tell, very clean, very state of the art. Our OR, we just put in a new vascular OR with some fairly extensive equipment in there. If you have the unfortunate time to ever be on our OR table, but we will be able to fix you. So we have some pretty good equipment there. New MRIs, we got 2 new MRIs that just came in and are actually almost installed. I think the one is still yet to be done. And mammography, I think that is another area that we've been continuing to grow and expand for our women's services in that line of business. So getting into something a little more serious, our COVID, so I call it, our 16 months in review. What have we learned? Kind of what did we go through? And I would say from a hospital side, a lot of people stayed home and a lot of people didn't come to work. That wasn't in the case of our employees and our staff. We were here every day and we were working. And I would say, we all know about virtual. We all know about we can't get off mute. We can't get off the second mute and some other buttons that we forget and don't know how to push. Most of us know how to do it this time, so that's a wonderful lesson. But, we did venture into telehealth. I mean, telehealth became a much more popular device for us as we moved into this COVID. We were doing doctor's visits. We closed doctor's offices. We were able to do virtual visits online. We were actually seeing more patients virtually than we sometimes had been seeing, as they came in, walking in. We did build, vaccination clinics. We were the first one to deliver vaccinations in Michigan. So we had the Southfield had the special freezer that was, negative 90 degrees below zero, and we were the first ones to receive vaccination. So it was great. We talked about MaxVax. We talked about our BAM clinics, which is a special infusion that you're able to get that helps you if you wind up with COVID. And one thing I think I'm proud of for Ascension and Southfield in specific is that we had no layoffs. We furloughed no one. So everybody that had a job before COVID had a job when it came out of COVID. Everyone received a paycheck and continued to get benefits. So that was a hard task, especially when you're closing down your surgical and your procedural areas for several months at a time. So, and that still remains true to this day. So we've tried to support our employees and our physicians. This is just giving you a brief overview of the curve. So the one on the left is kind of the first surge. It came in pretty significantly in March. As all you remember, everything was closing down. It had a very significant mortality rate. So we were seeing, unfortunately, a lot of individuals that didn't make it. It dramatically kind of impacted the elder population. So those that were in nursing homes and those, unfortunately, that had a lot of comorbids. As you can see, it tapered. We call it the tail, and we finally were getting back to some business last summer, I think, and things got a little better. And then we went into the fall, and we had a second surge. This one came in a little slower. Obviously, the tail was a little longer. We were able to maintain operations through this, so we were not only doing surgery, doing medical office visits, doing procedures, but we were also managing COVID all at the same time. So it really stressed us because of our staffing models just weren't, really weren't built for it. But we were able to make it through, and we hoped that we were done, because about the end of that, we wound up getting the vaccination. We knew it was on its way. We were getting prepared to do vaccination when we unfortunately hit a third surge. And I think we're one of the few states around the country that actually had a third surge. So, and the third surge came in very, very fast. It was doubling every 8 days. And at one point, I did have to close surgery and procedures to the hospitals for about a week to 10 days to just, I didn't know where the end of the tunnel was dark at that point. I didn't know where we were heading, so we made the decision. It was hard to close down and let us take a pause and take some breaths. So luckily, we were able to see the plateau, and we got things back up and running again and be able to take care of our patients. But we are now at the tail end of that, as you can see, and we really do not have many patients in our hospitals, very few, 2 or 3 in each one, possibly between Novi and Southfield. And I would say across all of our Michigan hospitals, we are kind of getting out of it. Now, we think that at the end of the summer might bring another, we got sun, we got vitamins, everybody's immune system is great right now, but there might be some bounce towards the end of the summer. That's why we keep pushing you. I know Mayor Siver's been with me. We keep pushing you to get your vaccination. So if you don't, please, if you know people that haven't, do it. It's the only thing that's going to stop this thing from spreading. And the biggest fear for us is it's going to mutate. So we don't want the mutation coming back at us, and we're afraid because of the overseas issues that are going on that that might come back to us in the fall. So this graphs just kind of show that it really impacted the elder population in the first column on the left. The middle is the second surge. It kind of impacted a little less elder population, that 50-60 population, and actually the third surge really impacted the younger, the 40s and 50s. So each surge kind of kept getting younger, and then our hope is that maybe this will be our last surge. But moving to something more fun, we did have a tremendous amount of community support. I know Mayor Garrett talked about it, and Mayor Siver, everybody chipped in. I know we've had people hanging banners. We had our EMS and fire and police come to the hospitals and support us in every way. We had food trucks. I couldn't tell you we would have felt more supported in any other community, and the hospitals and their staff truly appreciate it. All that helps. These guys were working at times 12, 16 hours, coming back 8 hours later, gowning and wearing masks and all kinds of PPE that they were required to wear. I mean, it was tough, and their families, it was tough on their families too. So getting meals and getting help and getting baskets and other things, it was a great thing for you guys. Again, we started, vaccination clinics early. We were at the hospital. We were one of the first. We had I think it was the Army or National Guard was in to assist us, and that was a huge support. But, we were trying to be first. Ascension believed in being first in delivering vaccination, and we still do, and we're still trying, and we just want to keep pushing that. We did do the Max Vax Center, so we, ultimately we had it. It was at Macomb County. I know this side of town really was wanting it, and we wanted to get it here, and we were able to make that happen. And it was a beautiful center. I toured it with Mayor Siver and the rest of the team, and it was a beautiful center, and I think they were able to do a tremendous amount of vaccinations. I don't think we got as many as we wanted to, but we were able to do it if we needed to. And I think what we learned from this is, from our perspective, last couple slides, is just flexibility. We were not prepared to manage a pandemic. A lot of our business models, our business structures changed dramatically over the number of years. You got rid of all your warehouses of PPE. You had on time, par levels and things such as that. Well, and we have warehouses now that are filled with PPE, and we will probably have warehouses filled with medications and every other thing. Ultimately, I think we learned how to manage this disease. When we first started this disease, we didn't know much about it, and now I would say we are definitely experts in managing a pandemic, and how many people can put that on their resume, unfortunately. And then I would say the last thing is that we have to do things differently. We're now swabbing, we're now screening, we're now making sure people don't have temperatures. We've got apps to do things that we never had to do. We probably all sanitize more than we ever sanitized in our life. How many of you guys have sanitizer in your car, in your purse, and your, my kids have them in their pockets. So, we feel weird walking around shaking people's hands, and especially at that golf outing last week. I think I shook 300 people's hands, but by the time I was done, I was like, but I got over it. So, but I think it's, it's just a change. But I think ultimately, the message moving forward is that we are thankful, for all the support in the community. We are thankful for all of my team, the staff, the physicians. We did do a living tree memorial just recently. We planted a tree at Southfield, and just to honor those that have passed. We lost many in the hospital. We lost several physicians, nurses, and others. And I know obviously from our patient population, through the 3 surges, we unfortunately had lost many of them as well. So, it's a learning curve. We don't want to go through it again. So please. My preach is get vaccinated. But I do want to thank you for your partnerships, especially in this past year. I know, again, you guys have been very helpful to us. I thank you to Lawrence Tech as well, to their partnership as we continue to move forward into the future. And anyways, I just want to be here. I want to thank you for letting us be with you today. And I also do want to add that I'm a father of 4 daughters, teenage daughters, so there's not much that I haven't been able to figure out over the last year. And I've been stuck at home sometimes with them, which is I'm much more rather be here. so thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Brant. On behalf of the Southfield Chamber Area of Commerce, we are very happy that you were able to join us today. I just want to take a moment to say a special thank you to Rochelle Freeman, and Tammy Salisbury, and the Events Committee. If you're a member of the Events Committee, please stand. Thank you very much. We invite you to join us and to stay in network. Thank you for joining us.